there's that 4,400 level, guys. You can see it spikes through it. You know, it goes up to 44.30, but then we get this pullback. And here we are down, you know, it spikes back on the other side just below the 4,400 level. 98, so pretty much the 4,400 levels in play. Right now, we're looking at, come on, push, right there. Right where our green line is, that's what you can see, the resistance on the way up right here. Resistance again here, unable to break through. Then it breaks through, and now this baby has become support. And again, what is it? It's a major, major level. It is the 4,400 level. So pay attention to those levels, guys. Very critical. Yeah, Robert, yeah, just get with Josh, and we got to get them. We can now get those moved over. The first thing you got to do is open up the account over at FinFX, and then we can transfer. Does that make sense? If you would, Robert, just send me an email with just what you just said right there. And again, my email is foconnor@tradersedge4x.com. Send me a quick email, and I can get it. We'll get it over to Josh and get you moving there. Now, I want to quick look at the British pound. Perfect, Robert. Thank you. British pound today. Move to the upside about 200 pips. Not quite as dramatic as the euro, but dramatic enough if you were trading it. What's going on? Let's get out to our daily chart. There's that fib. Let's get our trend line support resistance levels. Interesting little drop here on this guy. Get this guy back in. Now, let's get our Fibonacci on there. It's an old trend line. I'll lose that baby. A little bit too much, all the way to 2008. There we go. Now, do I have significant levels anywhere to watch out for? I see this big support level right around here. What is that? 5,900. Yes. 5,800. I'm sorry. 5,800. Again, 0 level. You can see it in play all the way across. And that's what held it on the 12th of July. Held the downward move. What had been resistance, support, all the way across became support again on the 12th of July. We have the high up here. What's in play there is the 16800 level. There it is right there. Didn't quite make it up there, but you can see that's what held it back in May of this year. And it held it again back in 2009 for, quite a, probably a month, almost a whole month of time. It was bumping up against that particular area. Not relevant right now, but I want to make sure we have them on the chart so that if those areas come back up, I can see them. Let me get my daily fib on there. In the direction of the overall trend, look for the big swing. That's where I want to be. I'm going to lightly color that so that I can tell that it is a daily fib. Okay, and again, guys, look at what we see immediately. I put on the daily fib. Let me take this out of the way. This guy right here, the 38 fib, where we had our marker at that 5,800 level, held right there. So we have a couple of very important things happening at the 5,800 level. We have previous support and resistance. We have a 38 Fibonacci, and we have a big 00 number, the 5,800 level. That's where it bounced off. Now I can come down to my 1 hour chart. Now let's look at it even, and look what's happening on the 1 hour chart. Surprise, surprise. Where does it go to before it finishes up today? Back up to that trend line that was from the daily chart from weeks and months ago, showing up again. That's why I say when these daily trend lines show up, boy, I'm paying attention. You see it on the upside. We see it on the downside right here. Now, prior to the move up, I already had, oh, sorry. Move that out of my way now. Let me show you this. Prior to today, we had this going on. See our trend line right there from several days back. Today, the low was right at that trend line, and equally important, look at that trend line matching up exactly with our spine, guys. The spine held it. As that baby started bouncing off the spine, you could have dropped down and to a lower time frame and picked up some of those pips for sure. Now let me get our hourly fib on there. This is kind of like getting on the highway and putting on the road markings, the proper road markings. I want to change the color so I know it's an hourly one. Much brighter color. Now, looky. Let me blow it out. As it came back yesterday, it hit the spine, our trend line, and found support. And that also just happened to be on our hourly chart a 50% Fibonacci. Now here's the crazy thing. You couldn't have seen that Fibonacci at that stage because it couldn't even be drawn because we're drawing it off the high today. But look at it showing up past tense. That's why I'm saying these levels are critical, guys. We've got to pay attention to them, support and resistance levels. Anyway, moving on to today. Let's get down to a 30-minute chart. And what are we looking at later on today? Price action today starts out, has a little spike up, then comes back. For 3 candles on a 30-minute chart, she's holding at the spine. Cannot break through. And that also happens to be our trend line finding support right there. Pulls back up. We have a very nice trade. Let me get my Rubicon operating here on this. Yeah, some old stuff here. Let me get rid of that. And there's the trade to the upside. We get another bite of the cherry over here as it ticks off. You can see it there, even on the 30-minute, all the way up. If you saw the spiking going on and she's moving fast in one direction, drop down to the 15-minute and you'll pick up some extra stuff. Again, bear in mind, I'm doing it because I know I have a strong move going on, so I'm dropping down. There we go. It catches it right here. Bounces off the spine, our trend line, our 23 fib. Now remember that 23 fib right here is a daily Fibonacci. Bounces off it. We get a signal to enter. That first trade's a nice 25 pip trade. We get another signal up here. 17, 18 pips. Now at this level, guys, we have moved 175 pips, and I'm up at the 6,300 level, which is 63, right about here. Now, at that stage of the day, personally, I am not looking for any more longs because the currency has moved 200 pips. It's at a 0-0 level, a normal psychological big ass, for want of a better word, resistance level. Does that mean it won't go any further? No, and in fact it does. What it means is I'm personally not going to buck the trend and try to be the one to push it through there. I'm done at that level. Other than I may look for a pullback, and guess what it does? It pulls back right there, and it pulls back again slightly, not much, 10 to 12 pips, but a couple of little pullbacks as profit taking is going on to the 6,300 level, then she spikes through. But I'm definitely not looking to go any further along. There is a signal over here. Remember what we said. We're on the 15-minute chart. We're with the trend. That's why we're on the 15-minute chart. The best signals are always the first signal, which we get here. The second signal are optimal signals. The third signal can and the fourth signal can be good, but I'm out of the higher probability trades at this level. What really compounds it for me is the 6300 level. Like, that's it, I'm done. Now, am I making sense, guys, when I walk through that whole process? I'm hoping I am. I'm not confusing the daylights out of you guys. If somebody would give me a yes or a no, that would be great. Good question, Kyle. Okay, Robert, you got it. Kyle's question: historically, are the orange arrow trades a higher probability trade on any time frame? Yes and no. And let me clarify. Yes, Lyle, when they're coming on the first or second move of the wave. Very strong, very high probability. But again, as we get up here, if I got an orange arrow, I would be less inclined to take it, even though it's slightly stronger than the yellow one. But the same rules apply. If it's on the first and second move of a wave, yeah, very, very much so, very strong. Does that make sense, Lyle? Okay, good. Now, any other questions, guys? Okay, you got it. No problem, lad. So what am I looking at for later today? Pretty much what I talked about on the euro. Here we are up at this level right here. Even on the 15-minute chart, price action wise, 80 pips away from my spine. So long, long way away. We could